So here we are again. This is take number 15 or so, and I've just managed to work out where to put the camera and what angle to put it at. I haven't sorted out the lighting obviously yet. That will happen in a later video. Anyway, friends, family, folks, and my future me, for whom I'm making these actual videos, I'm sitting here in a place called Hyakukuminihama campground or something like that. It's 8 kilometres north of Cape Erimo. I've ridden 3 days to get here from Kushiro. The first day was 45 kilometres. The second day was more challenging. It was 67 kilometres. And yesterday was a real doozy. It was 80 kilometres. And the last 40 of those 80 kilometres were pretty spectacular. So I was originally going to make one video showing from Kushiro all the way up to Noboribetsu, but I think the footage I've already taken is going to take one video of its own. And I'm leaving here tomorrow, and I don't know if I'll actually take any footage in the next few days, because I don't think anything can be nearly as exciting as the stuff that I just saw yesterday. I'm currently in the process of having a coffee and pondering what I'm going to cook myself for dinner. Except really it won't take much pondering, because all I have in there is noodles and sauce and bread and cheese, and I had bread and cheese for lunch, so I think it'll be noodles and sauce for supper. Anyway, let's just cut the waffle and get straight into this video, starting 3 days ago on my first day out of Kushiro. Because I'll be cycling along the coast the whole way, I think I'll be going through quite a few fishing ports. This is obviously the first one. There are no national parks on this next section of the route, and also nothing of incredible great cultural importance either for me to look at. So I think I'll be focusing on fishing ports and maybe a bit of what it's like cycling and camping, that sort of stuff. There are lots of boats up on dry dock. I'll go around the other side and see if I can get some footage from the other side. Is this a ship's graveyard or what? One boat after another. And they're big too. There they are. I've come around the other side. Seeing all these boats lined up like this, it's good for counting practice in Japanese. Ichi, ni, san, yon, go, roku, nana, hachi, kyu, ju, juichi, ju, ni. I think there's 12. Yes, there were 12 in front of me, and over there even more, but I can't count them because I can't actually distinguish one from the other, because it's just a tangled mess of masts. Well, here we are again. I've cycled 30 kilometres this morning. I left Kushiro and I'm on my way to Onbetsu. I'll be staying there tonight. And overall, I'm on my way to Noboribetsu, but it'll take me, I don't know, I'm guessing 8 to 10 days to get there, because I'm going right around the coast of Hokkaido rather than the shorter way, which would be going straight through the mountains. But mountains generally have steep inclines, and I'm not inclined to go up them. So going around the coast road is lots of little short hills, probably almost the same in total climbing, but because it's one little hill after another, it's easier for me. But anyway, today's a really windy day, but luckily it's mainly a rear wind, sometimes on the sides, sometimes a rear wind, and very gusty too, which if it's a side wind it actually is quite dangerous, but so far it's all good. I've just ridden up this hill, which has a gradient of 5%, which I know doesn't sound much, but for me, well, I rode all the way up. Anyway, I was pondering where I was going to have lunch, because it's lunchtime. I heard the chimes ringing, and I found a car park. And not only a car park where I could pull off and sit on the footpath and eat my lunch, but it also has a set of conveniences, as in toilets. Brilliant. And this is what I love about Japan. They're just beautifully clean. So what's not to like? Got to the top of a hill, car park, lunchtime, toilets. It's all good. This is a Pacific Ocean. So I'm no longer on the Okhotsk Sea. I'm now on the Pacific Ocean, the North Pacific Ocean. There's nothing between here and the US as far as I know, except for a few islands maybe. So yeah, I'll be following this ocean all the way down to Hakodate, where I'll cross over to Honshu Island and start following a different stretch of water. The long and lonely road. If the whole day were like this, I'd be quite happy. A little bit of traffic. I think there's a car coming up. Nice straight road. Sound of the waves. My bear bell tinkling. It's nice to have the occasional car just to remind myself there are other people in the world. I've got 67 kilometres to do today. I hope as many as possible are like this. I've already climbed 4 or 5 hills, so I'm really enjoying just the flat for now. Yesterday, the gods were very nice to me. I only had 45 kilometres to go and they gave me a really, really good tailwind, so I did it in record time. But today they've obviously decided that being so pleased with oneself about one's travels is not good. A bit of reality check. So they've given me a headwind, not very strong, as you can see from my flag. It's flying, but only a little bit. But every little bit counts. So yeah, headwind. So I've come across this shrine and I thought, who knows, maybe if I do a bit of a prayer here, make a bit of an offering. Not that I've got anything to offer, but you know, thoughts account. It's a thought that counts. And maybe I'll get rid of that headwind for me. It's a nice little shrine, quite old. There aren't that many shrines here in Hokkaido, really, which is why I've stopped and photographed the 2 that I found. I have seen more, but not many. Whereas in Honshu, they're just in every corner. They're everywhere. Been crossing plenty of rivers here in Hokkaido, which is to be expected. All of that snow has to melt somewhere and go somewhere. But this is by far the biggest river I've come across. I mean, it's just huge. Can't imagine how much water must come down here in the early spring. You can see some of the tree trunks that are laying there. I was planning to go as fast as I could to my next campground, but I could see it's going to take me all day because I've got raging ocean on one side and all these waterfalls on the other side. This one is just a bit further on, which if you wanted to have a shower, look at that, perfect shower spot. Beautifully clean water from up there, comes down at a pounding you to do a good head massage. And yeah, there's the road. The road's really good. It's actually got a wide shoulder for cyclists, and every time I have to go through a tunnel, there's a special bike path, so that's even better. Makes me feel really safe. The locals must really like this spot too, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 shrines or memorials, or whatever they are. This next tunnel doesn't have a bike path, so it's only a short one, but I thought I'd better put my lights on anyway. I mean, that's why I've got them. So there's my rear light. It doesn't show up very well on the camera, but it is actually flashing bright red. And there's my front light. Once again, it doesn't show up much on the camera, but it seems to be okay. All along the coast here, there's these tsunami warning signs, but this one doesn't actually tell you where to go. So my question is, if a tsunami comes, do I hide in here and hope that those pillars on the side between the sea and the tunnel stop the force of the waves? Or I'll try and scramble up the cliff. Except it's very steep and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't get far. I don't know. There's a bit of a trail around there. Maybe there's a ladder to on top of this tunnel. No idea. These guys have more patience than I have. I would have stuck a motor on my surfboard long ago. That section I've just ridden through was originally built just like all the other sections of semi-tunnel with gaps in the walls, but in this section they've filled them in with perspex or something, and not just straight sheets but zigzag sheets, probably to withstand the pounding of the waves much better. I imagine a straight pane of perspex or glass would just shatter immediately on the first impact. But these ones are much stronger. This sea must get so wild. I mean, it's pretty wild now. I wouldn't want to go swimming in that. So I came to the next tunnel, which has those windows, but only half. So I thought I'd ride on this path on the outside, but up there I can see that the waves are actually coming over the path. So I've decided that maybe I won't ride on here, I'll just go back. And there is actually a bike path going through the tunnel. I doubt very much I'd get washed into the sea, but I don't want to get wet anyway. And why do something stupid if you don't need to? You hear the booming, that's the waves crashing as well. Speaking of waves coming up onto the path, there is the remains, or there are the remains of a crab. Now, I'm guessing, along with all these bits and pieces of shells, that they also have been washed up by the waves. So I'm just going to get out of here. This is the bike path going through the tunnel. I reckon it's a much safer option and drier as well. These boats are just sitting here, just waiting for somebody to love them, care for them, take them out, give them something useful to do. So far all the tunnels have been quite civilised, but this one basically looks like the tunnel from hell. There's a footpath, but it's too narrow to ride on. There's no bike lane. It's 2 kilometres long. The only saving grace is there's not much traffic, but it's going to be lights on and scoot through as quick as I can. So here we are at Cape Erimo, where the land meets the sea, where the land reaches out to the sea, stretches out, tries to become one with the sea. I can see 3 ships over there, but no whales, no seals, nothing. Just 3 ships, a whole lot of rocks. I'm actually going to try and learn a bit of kanji, and I'm wondering if that first symbol there is actually the word for fence, because it actually looks like a fence. I know that the last... Whoa. No, I don't know anything. I thought the last few might say kudasai, but they don't. So from here, my route does a 90-degree turn. When I leave that car park, I will go over that hill and follow this coast all the way up to Tomakomai, where it does another bit of a turn and heading on to Noboribetsu. I must admit this sea looks a lot calmer than what I rode along 2 days ago. I believe I've probably got 2 tunnels to go through, but yeah, not sure. We shall see. Anyway, I've been on the lookout for whales and seals and other things, but as the signs promised me, but no, haven't seen anything. It's not just fishing and tourism that are big parts of local industry here. Seaweed, collecting it, drying it, selling it. It's also a big part of commercial activity all along the coast. And down here is an area that they've got ready for seaweed drying. Again, but they haven't got any seaweed on there yet. But over on this side, there's lots of seaweed. As you can see, it must shrivel up an awful lot when it dries because there's big gaps between all the individual lengths. And over there in the distance is even more. Some parts of town, every flat bit of land has got the pebbles spread ready for the seaweed.